Hi. Thanks for joining us. You have a great website. I just wanted to give you that compliment. Do you see any hope for rehabilitation, if you will, of the Beltway, Burgundian, Reason, Cato crowd? And if so, how do you think that might come about?
Well, I hear they're setting up re-education camps in Auburn, Alabama. And if they want to apply, sure, you know, maybe a few years would make Ed Crane a normal human being. I don't know.
Hi, thank you for your talk. I'm Sally Hayes from Gainesville, Florida. I'm a very good friend of Robert Poole, who founded Reason magazine. I'm Canadian, and I've always been a bit sad that there is constant friction among various parts of the libertarians, regardless of whether it's Reason or the party. But Ron Paul ran for the Libertarians. Now, did he run with the Beltway, as you call them, or who was it that was in charge of the Libertarian Party when Ron Paul was the candidate? You didn't mention anything about that. I just wondered why.
When he ran as the LP candidate?
Yes, yes. Was it the Beltway bunch he ran with?
No. It was the good guys.
Oh, I see. It was the good guys. Okay.
But, you know, now that you mentioned Bob Poole, I mean,
Yes.
people like Nick Gillespie and Matt Welch make me nostalgic for Bob Poole. I mean, Bob Poole and I, you know, had many disagreements over the years, mainly on foreign policy and just on questions of style. I mean, Bob is such a normal guy, he's very nice, and I'm you know, on the other hand, quite the opposite. But, I mean, you know, the old style, you know, right wing of our movement, or, you know, the you know, more, you know, like gradualist types like Bob Poole were always polite. They never viciously attacked us all that much, and, you know, even though we did attack them. I mean, Bob Poole, I say bring back Bob Poole.
Right. Well, he's just been retired for a few years, but he's certainly not out of the picture. And when you made the comment about more contributions being made by Ron Paul, who I've known for many years too, I can't help but remember that Bob Poole coined the phrase privatization and has worked, you know, endless hours, and even now is working on getting the roadways done so that the trucks can travel in the center. So there's just been, you know, with Reason Foundation and Reason Magazine, many of us as libertarians hope that there will be this bonding and getting together eventually. Thank you.
I'm for it.
I just had a question, and see if you could comment on this, of how we, those of us who are not participants in think tank organizations, but are here in our own regard as private individuals, how we might be able to participate and educate the public and change their mindset with the decades of indoctrination and brainwashing that's taken place over statism and collectivism, and how we can advance this.
Well, you know, I've actually been thinking about that a lot lately, and I think that what we really have to do is follow the Ron Paul model. I mean, Ron Paul talked about war and fiat money. He attacked the warmongers and the banks. I think this is key, okay, because who is profiting from all this war? I mean, who, you know, people's homes are being foreclosed all over this country. So why is that? I mean, I think that you need simple but angular slogans, and that you need to really go after the bad guys. And you have to understand that, as Murray said, you know, in politics, Murray Rothbard, that there's the good guys and the bad guys. And it's really good to focus on the evil of the bad guys. And that you have to go after these guys hammer and tongs. So that what you do is you take our philosophy and you apply it to what is happening today. And then go after them. Okay.
Hi, Justin.
Hey.
Thanks for reminding us of some of the roots of the divisions in the libertarian movement. But one question I had is, you characterized the Paulistas as really Rothbardian libertarians, I think, and I'm not quite certain we can say that, because there's a big difference between the decentralized contributions of the Paullistas on the web, who weren't controlled by the central apparatus of his campaign, and his commercials, which in San Diego were completely bereft of his anti-war message and thus could attract nothing but the flag waving that went behind. So I'm wondering, how do you characterize them as Rothbardians? Because I interviewed about 15 of them in San Diego just to listen to them, and I didn't sense any rootedness in their, or philosophy underneath it. It was more of a catch-can as issues.
Right. Well, look, I mean, ideas have consequences even though you don't know where those ideas came from. And so that, I mean, Ron Paul is personally a Rothbardian. I mean, you know, he was talking about, you know, get rid of the Federal Reserve. He was attacking imperialism. He was going through, you know, the whole thing. And so even though these people didn't know where these ideas came from, they were Rothbardians anyway. So that's the appeal. Next.
Hello. It appears that most or all of us are Ron Paul supporters, and I'm just wondering what you think Murray Rothbard would think of the bar route ticket.
I mean, you know, the bar part I think he'd be happy about. The root part I think he would not be that happy about, but I'm just guessing. I mean, Murray would, I think, approve of bar, if only on account of the possibility that John McCain would be denied the White House on account of the votes. And you know, I mean, Murray always tried to have this merger of, you know, the paleocons and the libertarians, and I think that this is, you know, like Richard Viguerie showing up at our convention. I mean, it's, you know, that is a good development as long as Richard Viguerie is not in charge, and we are, you know, so.
Thank you very much for the speech, by the way. At the end of the speech, you mentioned that it was no surprise that the kind of libertarian renaissance that we're having right now is coming from the Rothbardian, the radical wing of libertarianism. In many conversations with other libertarians, there seems to be a constant battle between those who would tell us that we have to give up radicalism because it's impractical, and hence to be practical, we have to be pragmatic. And it seems to me that this is a canard. It seems to be the exact opposite. It's radicalism that gets things done. Can you comment on that?
Well, it's just, you know, as the Randians put it, it's, you know, a case of terminal mind-body dichotomy. I mean, you know, the practical is the radical. It's not I mean, look, you know, all these pragmatists who work in Washington, D.C., I mean, it's not practical from their point of view because they want to influence the elites. But we want to reach ordinary Americans. And the only way you can do that is with a strong message that will get noticed and not Me Tooism. So it all depends on what you want to accomplish. Radicalism works, you know, as long as it's reasonable radicalism. And I think Ron Paul exemplifies that. He's a model for all of us to follow. And all I can say is thank God for Ron. See you later.